The bandwidth for this episode of Fat2Fit HQ is sponsored by the Firearms Radio Network, firearmsradio.tv.
I don't have it. Do I need to open it? Go ahead, go for it.
You don't have to read anything. I'll try to remember it. Welcome to the Fat2Fit HQ podcast. We are your hosts, Carol and JT. And see if she said something different, Jen. Of the Firearms Radio Network. In this podcast, we are chronicling our journeys from fat to fit. We talk about pursuing a healthier lifestyle, not only in diet, but in all areas of life. I swear that shouldn't be my claim to fame, that I can't remember the intro if I say anything.
I thought you were going to change it to fit to fat. We're going to chronicle our journey from fit to fat.
We are. This is exactly what I'm doing right now. Oh, JT. God dang. It's been bad. I mean, I know you didn't listen to last week's show, but I'm in a better place than I was last week. Last week was the bottom of the barrel in the gutter. What about you?
Well, I saw your MyFitnessPal stuff, so it looked like you're down like 4.5 pounds or something, which is phenomenal.
You get to lose 4.9 pounds when you eat ridiculously for months and gain 15 pounds. If you gain 15 pounds in a few months, as soon as you eat healthy again, that puffiness, I think it's inflammation and water weight. I was living on junk carbs and what's it called? Nachos was my food that I was eating all the time. And then, the night before I did that show, I had gone to Fazoli's. Do y'all have Fazoli's?
Yeah, we do.
Oh my God, it's an evil place. It's drive-through Italian food, and there's breadsticks, those buttery breadsticks, and I'd had lasagna. I mean, I'd just thrown it all. It had only been about a month that I had really thrown everything out the window, and I was just like, I'm just going to study and work and not worry about this because it's too stressful. And then Halloween came around. I got all addicted to Halloween candy. It's bad. It's bad. So as soon as you clean up your act, a week of ultra low carb is just gonna. You're definitely gonna lose some water weight there.
Well, I can't believe that you can do all that and only gain 15. I feel like all I've really done is I feel like you must have good metabolism or something, because if I did that, I'd gain 50.
No, you know what it was is Jeff Fry. I always mention him, but he really has saved me. Is that I was still checking in with him, and I was still talking with him weekly, and I felt bad, like I'm wasting this man's time completely. But he would tell me, if you can't attend to your diet and really track and really do your macros, don't worry about losing weight. Just try not to do damage, and push all your carbs to as late in the day as possible. Be as high fat as you can, and then if you're going to have carbs, have your vegetables and stuff in your last meal. When ghrelin's high, you eat a little bit bigger meal. Maybe if you eat more protein than I would normally tell you to eat, you're not going to gain, but you're probably not going to lose. And that helped me for quite a while. And then I just started fudging that a bit, and then I was eating too much protein all day. And then, like I said, the last several weeks is when, right after Halloween, I went trick-or-treating with my kids, and I was like, you know what, I know I'm getting back on the wagon tomorrow. I'm just going to have these Reese's peanut butter cups because they're my favorite. And then there was tons of candy in the house, too. And that day just never comes. You're like, okay, I'm going to have one more last hurrah, a big meal.
Right.
Tomorrow I'm getting back on the wagon. And tomorrow would never come. I just kept having last hurrah.
Well, I started traveling. Well, I've been traveling a lot anyway, and but I really was traveling back to back to back, and usually I would use I'm usually gone maybe a couple days a week, and then 2 or 3 days a week, and then I could come back and get my act together. Within a few days, I could kind of bounce back, and then just one thing turned into another, and I don't know how many consecutive weeks I was on the road. Shelley dropped a calendar in front of me as a hint the other day, so
Oh.
I know that it was a lot. And I think it really hasn't been about carbs. I don't think as much as it's been. I think for me at least, I think the dairy's getting out of hand. I mean, the heavy
cream.
the heavy cream has turned into. I'm adding a little coffee to my heavy cream.
Swimming in heavy cream.
When I first started this whole thing, I was hardcore paleo. I mean, no dairy, no, and then I started hearing people say, "Well, primal, you can have dairy." I said, "Well, then I'm primal." So then,
that's what I am. That's what I am.
like, So I think that's gotten out of hand a little bit, and then cheese started to creep itself back into the house again. And then you listen to like a Jimmy Moore or someone like that, and he's eating cheese, and it's
Kerrygold. As long as it's Kerrygold.
It's almost Atkins-esque is what's happened a little bit, and I'm not. So I need to. The last couple of days have been pretty good, and then today we did the. I had several weeks back. I had registered for this Christmas fun run 5K thing, and there's this place outside of the town that I live in that's got a mile of nothing but solid Christmas lights through the woods. I mean, it's really people drive from all over to come see it. It's expensive. It's $27 a car.
Wow.
And you can do a hayride. You can do a hayride for like $20. It's crazy. I don't even know how they make it, but they put all these lights up and everything. So there's a 5K, and the last mile of the 5K was through the lights. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
And the cool part was my one of my daughters has she's on her. I think she's been 30 days gluten free.
Wow.
This is one of the ones that's been kind of like didn't really want to do anything that was trendy, because she'd seen Shelley and I do a bunch of trendy things. So now she's been 30 days gluten free, and she signed up to do it with me. Her and her friend did. They walked it. I ran and then came back for them.
Oh man!
And then
you're that guy.
We I got to walk through it again, and then it was just cool. But it was about as much activity as I've done in a while. I mean, I walk still a little bit, but nothing like I was. My steps are. It's all I can do to get 10,000, and I used to get almost 20,000 a day. It's just
10,000 is fantastic. God, I'm not even wearing my Fitbit anymore. It used to be tough for me to get to 10,000, but you're a walker. You don't have a little kid. I know I'm full of excuses, but I have a Fitbit. I have to return it for the recall thing, and I've just been so lazy about that because I've been so inactive.
Have you seen the new ones? They have three new models. I'm hoping to get one for Christmas. They've got one that's got a built-in heart monitor that doesn't require a chest band and a watch. And anyway, I got an email on it. I need to. I haven't looked at them up close yet, but
gadgets will save me.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though about that. Okay, well, Jimmy Moore does cheese, and Primal lets you have a little dairy and all that. That was one of my downfalls, is that over the last couple of years, learning everybody's nuances to this. I remember Dr. Patel saying, well, just give me breakfast. If you just give me breakfast. He was talking about people who had never, ever tried this.
Right.
And were probably just needed to really shape up their diet. But I was going to bed at night thinking, I had a horrible day, but tomorrow I'll just eat a good breakfast. And then I would have lunch, was always nachos. This place has these great nachos by me. And I just miss the chips, with the cheese and meat and all of that. And I just, it just got pretty far gone. So I did a show last week where I was at a hotel in San Marcos, and I swear when I was putting off doing a show because I just didn't have anything to talk about that wasn't so depressing. And I didn't want to do anything, but I brought workout clothes. I was like, Jake is going to completely kick me off the network if I don't put out a show soon. So I just put out a half a show just really explaining about how miserable I was and not wanting to work out and not wanting to eat healthy. And then I stopped the show and I went down to the hotel gym and I did a really lame workout. But I said I was going to do like 20 minutes and come back up and talk about how I felt because
Right.
yeah, it's crazy because I was so cynical even before I went down. I was like, I know it's going to help, but I still really don't want to go. It wasn't like it was magic. Leaving the hotel gym, I still have all my cravings, you know what I mean? It's not like everything's wonderful, but you do get some, man, the soreness feels a little good. The fact that you broke a sweat feels good. You get this, I can do this kind of thing. If you
Yeah, I think there's no doubt about that. And what's funny is I keep coming back to the fact that we're talking about keeping up with the. Do you remember really early on, Roger Dickerman said something about find a couple of filters and stick to it? And
yes.
I kind of feel like I've got way too many sources of info.
Yeah.
It's like, this guy says this is okay. Then I'm picking the stuff that I like. Like I like the heavy cream part.
Yes. Cafeteria primal.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm just wondering because there was a time, literally, well, you remember when it was just pretty much hardcore. I was my primary two people that I really listened to was and kind of followed was the whole Rob Wolf paleo thing, and then Roger and Dr. Champ and all that, and then they got to where they weren't putting out any shows.
They did it to you.
And no. And then I started listening to say, well, they don't have one, so then I'm listening to, Ben Greenfield, and then I'm listening to Vinnie Tortorich, and then I'm listening.
They're all good.
Oh, they're awesome. They're all awesome, and they're all very similar. But if you pick just the parts you like from all of them. That's probably not a good idea.
That's the thing. I'm going to pick the one thing that they're doing that's off the, kind of off the blueprint or whatever, but I'm going to do all of theirs.
Right.
Everybody's vice is my plan.
Everybody's treat is my diet.
How's that working out for you, Jack?
It's not going good. Actually, but I'm not like, it's not just like, it's just kind of, I keep pretty good track on my Fitness Pal on the weight side. I haven't inputted food log, and I can't even remember how long.
Wow.
And I think I got away from that, and then, but I've done the weight thing, and you can just kind of see the trend. It's just kind of ticking up, and then it's back. I got it back down. This morning was back down again, and then but it's really hard. I kind of feel like it's and then we're going into the worst time of year. So now I've got this.
The worst time of year. This is supposed to be the most beautiful time.
Well, not for weight loss and
right.
Right.
A miserable holiday.
I heard the other day they said that the average American puts on 7 pounds during the holidays.
Don't doubt it. I do not doubt that. I didn't do that last year. I didn't put on 7 pounds last year, I don't think. The last couple of years that I've done this show, it's been a pretty decent holiday season. I certainly stopped losing weight or didn't make any progress, but I was able to keep it, minimize damage for sure. And that's really kind of what woke me up lately are those dang outlet malls in San Marcos that are so fabulous, those premium outlets. And I was there for a conference, and two trips over to the outlet malls, and I was prepared to buy the next size up pants. I've gone up 3 pant sizes, and because that's just where I gain all my weight. And I was so disgusted. And I left the dressing room both days in disgust without buying anything, because I did get the next pant size up, but it still wasn't a good look, I mean, it just fits wrong. Everything fits wrong. And you're buying pants that you're like, well, of course that's not my size, so I'll get this bigger ones. And then, like, one leg doesn't even go in these pants. You're like, oh, my God, when did this happen? And so that And then I was there by myself. I didn't have the kids, and that's so I was like, I'm just gonna do this show because it's gotten not like, oh my gosh, I'm like they gotta take a wall out of my house to get me out or anything. It's not that. It's that it's going in the wrong direction, and I usually gain about 10 pounds, and I'm like, oh my gosh, 10 pounds. Well, 15, then you're like, crap. It's like it accelerates, like it goes so much faster. You start putting on more and more weight, and like I said, I know some of it's water weight and inflammation, but some of it, I mean, was just really, really bad eating habits. So you're definitely putting on. Even with dropping that puffiness. I was in a dressing room today and I didn't buy the damn pants because they still can't, still don't look good.
So are you hungry?
Yes, I am very hungry, Jack.
It's funny because I was going to say I don't remember in 18 months being as hungry as I have been in the last. It's almost like, in a way, I almost feel like my body said, enough of this, you need to start eating something. And I haven't really been starving myself, but it's literally been, the cravings have been nuts, and I cannot figure out what's going on. And I haven't been like going and eating carbs. I've been going and eating cheese or,
yeah, something that shouldn't instigate cravings. Hey, what do you think about the circadian rhythms? And I know everybody talks about this, but Hammer Jammer John put a post on my Fitness Pal about the fact that ancestrally, going into the winter, we are built to put on weight right now and hold a lot of weight because, food's about to get real scarce. And so either now or just before now, the months leading up to now, we should have more hunger and more he didn't mention hunger, but he was saying, you should be putting on a lot of, over the summer there was a lot of fruit and stuff. I think the one who really was going into it in detail too was that doctor that they just had on Health Nuts Anonymous. Anyway, I'm getting my podcasts and stuff mixed up. But that's the theory, that in the summer there's lots of fruit and stuff like that around, and you're supposed to eat all this stuff and to get yourself fattened up for the winter. So I know John wrote, just remember that 0.2 pounds of loss right now is just as hard as 2-pound loss in February, March, when your body is more set up to not hold it so much. I wonder if the hunger goes hand in hand with that too. What do you think
that would be a good excuse for me to use. I'll take it.
People are saying don't throw in the towel, because I was like, I get that. I'm just not going to throw in the towel over that.
I'm getting ready to hibernate.
I know. That's the thing. Is that it's not that I'm going to throw in the towel and say, okay, well, why even bother till January? The rest of the country's not going to start until January, but it's or the world. It's that I don't want to get discouraged, because I know when I weigh in this week, it's definitely not going to be as big of a loss of, just getting rid of that water weight and stuff. But if I can just maintain or lose even a little bit, I want to keep it in perspective that this may be a very hard time of year to lose weight. People might go, well, just forget it. It's getting so hard, and I'm hungrier and now there's all these treats around the office. And Thanksgiving is not just one day. It's one day with your family, but the work does something, and there's always some kind of party, and there's people bringing treats. Holiday treats start showing up in the office, and it's going to be a parade of treats between now and Christmas. So I'm super glad. You know what's crazy is I put out that show. I did feel better after the workout. I was honest that I still had the cravings, but I felt better and I could do this, and I was going to commit to some stuff. I was going to commit to parking further away and working out at least twice a week. And but the biggest thing that came out of it was the December challenge. So we're going to have a check-in challenge, because I really do think that checking in, just saying, okay, I had a good day today, or I had a bad day today, or I'm going to work out tomorrow, or I did work out today, just verbalizing that to other people, anyone, makes a difference in where your head is.
I think so too, and I because it's that whole accountability thing, and just
Yeah.
the whole part of the value of the community too, because everybody's kind of in it together, and the whole deal. So I think uh, I'm in for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow, which not when we put this show out, it'll already be going on, but John also is doing he's calling it a 2D challenge, and it's the 2D. It's John Ellis, who we call Hammer Jammer. That's his you know handle. Anyway, he's putting out a challenge on MyFitnessPal, and this is separate. It's not the check-in challenge. His is just it's called 2D for 2 penny, and it's these tiny little workouts that you can do. Like he said, think like during a commercial break, or these little things that you can do, and he's putting out a different thing that you do each day for 30 days because he's about to turn 60 years old. So it's starting on November 24th, which is tomorrow. And you just read in there and it tells you what to do that day. He said,
Where's he gonna put them in MyFitnessPal?
MyFitnessPal, yeah. And there's going to be a thread, I think, and he's going to be posting it there, and you can respond there, or you can respond anywhere. Because it was nice. He said, life is a team sport. Post what you're doing on Facebook or here or wherever. But he said, just think of him as penny withdrawals from the fat bank. Little bitty withdrawals, but they add up, they accumulate, and that's like the bank, like pennies do at the bank. So that's a cool thing just to keep me moving. But the check-in challenge is going to actually start December and go through the end of December. And people were saying, like Cynthia Crom was saying, shouldn't we have like one free day, like Christmas Day, so we could focus on our family and stuff? But you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is check in.
Right.
I don't think there should be any, because it's a challenge. And if we start going, okay, so and so missed one day, everybody can miss one day, then it's not a challenge anymore. And I don't know. Even Christmas Day, just Merry Christmas, goodbye. You don't have to say. You don't have to write even a sentence. You just have to check in. You have to log in, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna keep it just every single day, those 31 days of December, including Christmas. Just if you can't make it, you can't make it. That's okay.
Can you do it from the app, or do you have to go online and do it? Because I can never get to the check-in stuff without going on the computer.
I figured out how to do it from my phone, at least my iPhone. I don't know why, but the link that we put in Facebook, if I go into Facebook to the Fat2Fit page and hit that link, it opens it in Safari. It opens it in my browser, but it's like a mobile. It's not the web page. It's a mobile version, and I can't get that through the app, but I can do the check-in on my phone. Really easy.
Through the Facebook page.
Yeah, through the Facebook page, through that link. Even if I do, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be through Facebook, but the link if you find the link to the MyFitnessPal community Fat2Fit, but Facebook page, the Fat2Fit MyFitnessPal community page, and somehow get that link on your phone. Like if you email it to yourself or go into Facebook and get that link,
right,
then it doesn't take you to the website at like the browser full website. There's a mobile version of it that also opens in your browser, but you can scroll through the chat and accountability and stuff, or at least on my iPhone, I can. So that's going to make it a lot easier to check in every day, because a lot of people are saying they have to actually go to a computer, but that's just the deal, man. I don't know what else to tell you. And don't give up, Jack, if you miss a day like you did last time. You were in it like 2 days, and then you're like, I'm out.
Well, I missed it, and I thought I was out, so I just punted.
Well, we have a lot of people that were out. I was one of them. I think I checked in 16 days out of the 30 days, but that was like almost every other day, and that was more than I would have done. And
are you doing the whole log? I haven't checked your log. Are you logging in everything again?
Yes.
Or are you checking in?
Yes, because I think the logging is key for me. Even if it's not a, calorie in, calorie out kind of thing, I need to be more aware of what I've been eating. And tonight's dinner was a perfect example. I knew I was having too much protein. I guess I didn't eat enough during the day. Brad cooked fajitas. I kept going back by the stove and just, taking another little part that he had sliced off because he was trying to slice it to put it away, and I kept eating it. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have some vegetables with some butter. And so I had broccoli and cauliflower with butter, but then I went back and ate more fajita, and then he had bought a huge thing of mixed nuts for some reason, a giant one from Sam's.
Oh,
So I know, such a bad idea, right? So I had like 4 handfuls of those, and I was like, I don't even know what I've eaten here. To
I
even,
was listening to it's good. I think the protein thing, like I was joking, I wasn't totally joking about the dairy because that's certainly not doing me any good right now. But I think the protein thing's out of control too because I really have kept really low carb other than vegetables. So I'm still no
uh,
grain. I'm still no grains, and
okay.
for the most part. I mean, literally 99% at least. And but I was listening to Jimmy Moore the other day on a show, and it was an old show, and I can't remember who, but it was on his Keto Clarity or book that he was at, and he was on somebody's show, um, and he was talking, and he was saying that he was talking about how much protein he could have and not have it, gluconeogenesis or whatever it is, and turn to
Yes.
sugar. Whole deal. And he was saying that his daily limit for protein was something around 6 ounces.
What?
Because if you think about it, it's supposed to be a gram. Most people say 3/4 of a gram or a gram per pound of lean muscle mass. Well, if you do the math, if you're a couple hundred pounds, it's under 10 ounces. And I just don't understand that because I mean, you think about it, and a chicken breast is going to be 4 to 6 ounces, and then you're done for the day. I don't know if I buy that.
Well, when I was making progress with Jeff, he was like, you don't have to live like this, but this is what we're going to do initially, and then we'll inch up to see where your thresholds are.
Right.
And it was under 30 grams of protein a day. And 30 grams, that's 30 paper clips, is what, I don't know, I'm thinking of weight. But that it was not a lot of meat at all. Like I'd have an egg, and that was 6 grams right there. Okay, so maybe I don't have an egg for breakfast. Maybe, and we were just trying to do high fat, completely fat for the breakfast. Even lunch, if I could have mostly fat for lunch, would be better. So that it push that protein to the evening, and it wasn't, remember I was having coconut oil and 15 slices of pepperoni for lunch?
Well, yeah. I mean, I just did it. I just looked at my phone. I don't. I'm not. It says that a gram is 0.0352 ounces. So you said you had how many? How many? You had 30 grams.
30. I was trying to limit it to 30. I think 30 was the high end. Maybe it was less than that, but I think 30 was what. I can't even remember. It's unfortunate. But it was definitely not over 30. Um, I know I was trying to keep.
Yeah, that doesn't. My math's not working. So, yeah, that
Well,
that's
it
that's not.
wasn't about how much things weighed. It was getting it into my fitness pal and seeing, how much protein I was having, trying to keep it to like 80% or more fat. And I used to be able to do that, but I was having so much protein that then there was a ton of food
Right.
and a ton more fat. So Brad and I were trying to brainstorm tonight, how do you eat mostly fat? That's why everybody's like, well, what the heck do you eat? And did you listen to Health Nuts Anonymous last week, the one that came out with that doctor? I need to remember
You
his
know what? I don't
name.
know that I ever have listened to them very
God,
much, other than when they're guests on this show. I've had them on, but I have not listened to them.
it was such a good show with hang on, I'll find it. His name starts with the um I don't know how to spell it, anonymous. Um their guest was this Dr. Gundry, Stephen Gundry, and
Huh.
he used to be a world famous heart surgeon, and I'm probably saying it wrong, but he left that profession because of all this high fat stuff and how it was affecting people. I don't want to mess it up, but just go look.
Is he the guy in California that's
Yes.
got the practice for weight loss? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard him before.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
yes, and he's on Kiefer's show too, but it's episode 23 of Health Nuts Anonymous that he gives a really really good, just very basic.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was the one. The fascinating thing that I couldn't believe was he was on the one where this he was a surgeon, right? A heart
yes,
surgeon. And
yes,
there was a guy that had gone to all these surgeons and had had all his evaluations done, and they said, you're too high risk for
yeah.
surgery.
They wrote that guy off.
And he showed up, and he was like, this guy was his last hope,
He
and
wrote him off too.
he wrote him off too, and he said, well, I've lost 40 pounds or whatever. Can you rerun my tests? And this is when they thought that things like, the arterial plaque and stuff like that couldn't be reversed. And he
Yeah,
did all the tests, and it looked a lot better. And he did surgery, and then he said, well, what exactly did you do? And it was essentially paleo, is what
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And for lack of a better word, so it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, yeah. What's really interesting is Dr. Gundry had done his master's work, or maybe it was his doctor, I don't know, but he had done maybe his thesis, but he had done work with lab animals and stuff and just kind of put that stuff aside. And this man had been taking a bunch of supplements and things, and he never thought about it was just a lot of things where some of his way old research he went and had his parents find his old research and stuff and just started connecting the dots, and it was just you know very very interesting how all this high fat stuff um, is just the way it's all playing out. I'm such a believer, but it's for me it's just difficult to live it because I can even live low carb, but again, it's way too much protein. I know it is because Dr. Gundry was sitting there saying, the protein's probably gonna be something you have on occasion, some big old steak or something like that. You don't want to be a pastatarian, like and stop eating.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
what's funny is there's a couple things that I've remembered over the last now couple of years that we've been doing this, is that one is that a lot of these real food paleo, whatever you want to call it, primal, whatever, that they'll still talk about 2/3 of their diet being vegetables, leafy green
Yeah.
vegetables and things like that. I can't really say that, although I'll come back to that in a minute because I've been doing like smoothies like crazy. But and I think I'm getting 5 servings or more easily of kale and stuff like that. But,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know that it's 2/3 of my diet is vegetables. And the low protein. I think that there's that whole perspective that low carb means high protein, and it's just not.
Yeah.
That's just not the case.
Yeah, they had an interesting conversation. I've heard people say this before that the protein, you don't even really process what you think you're processing. Not from the protein, from the vegetables. And Dr. Gundry was talking about that too. I mean, that it's not that you're breaking down so many nutrients, it's that that's your vehicle for fat. That's your
Right.
biggest thing, like the wilted spinach in your bacon grease is the spinach is there to get the fat in you.
Right.
And so that's what Brad and I were talking about is we stopped buying so many vegetables because we're like, oh, we just need more fat, and these vegetables are all turning to carbs and we don't need that many carbs, and maybe that's true too. Maybe have those vegetables more toward the evening, but so you can stay a little more ketogenic during the day, but the if you need some vehicle for that fat. I can't just eat fat bombs all day.
Right.
You just
That's what
keep
I,
pushing
and
it
that's what I
out.
thought. That's what I thought. Heavy cream and and all that. But or cheese or whatever. I don't know. I realized like I started to think back like when I was having my greatest amount of success. How was I eating specifically? And for the most part, it was eggs with spinach in the morning, bacon, and then I was having salad for lunch, and then I was having dinner with vegetables and butter and stuff like that. And it was real food, the whole deal. And then here of late, I've gotten on this kick where I've been making these smoothies, and I don't have a lot of fruit in them. It's not like it's banana and strawberries. Literally, it's about half to 3/4 a cup of blueberries, but probably 5 cups of kale, almond milk, but I also remembered back that someone said not to drink I heard somewhere not to drink your calories.
Yeah.
And that real food, that eating food as opposed to drinking food mattered. And so this morning, I cooked breakfast for the first time in a while, quite frankly, and it was kind of old school, just eggs, bacon, spinach, the whole deal, and it seemed to be more satisfying for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm going to try that this week. I'm not traveling any, so we'll see.
One of the things that made me, I was shocked when you wrote me and said, "Oh, I'm not doing well. I'm losing. It's a losing battle over here. I'm losing the good fight," or something like that. And I put out that show the next day, and then I got a flood of emails and messages of everybody saying they were off the wagon too. Not Hammer Jammer, not some people. There's a couple of people who are just sticking in there every day, and that's fantastic. My girlfriend Caroline, she went off the rails for a while, but she's been back on track for months. But so many people are saying, "Oh my gosh, thanks for posting this. I'm glad to know I'm not alone." And I don't know if it's this time of year, like we were saying.
Well, it could be, but there's a couple of things that I think at least I'm going to try. Even if it is, we don't live. The food's not that scarce. So the reason that if you go back into time, and you believe in that whole ancestral reason that you might be tempted to load up right now, it's because there's this scarcity of food in the winter, and there's not. And we have it's almost like a perfect storm in a way. Our body's saying there's a scarcity of food. In reality, we have more food at this time of year than we do any other time of the year with the holidays and all that. So
starvation, winter never comes.
So I'm just going to try to remind myself, that even if it's psychological, that hey, that this could be a seasonal thing. That a little chill in the air, although today wasn't certainly very chilly in the south where we are. But
we're in the 70s.
But I could definitely see how that could have an effect on people. They get it gets a little cold. You start wanting to put on a little extra layer.
And you have all those clothes. There's really cute things you can wear and hide a lot. It's just different. You're not in a bikini in front of anybody. You're not. You just got time. You feel like you got time to work this off. And I don't know. It's a slippery slope because it's crazy the different mindset that I have today. I'm still battling not wanting to get up, not wanting to go work out. I used to never say no if anybody asked me to do anything because I was like, you have to go. You have to take every opportunity. And now I have no problem saying no. Sleep is important. I heard on these podcasts how much sleep is important. I'm really trying to sleep when I can because I'm staying up so late studying. But it's crazy. In 9 days or so, I have worked out 4 times, and they're not big workouts. I go in going, I'm going to be there for 20 minutes, doing some couple lower body, couple upper body, and then get out. And but even that, and a couple of long walks with Caroline, and eating a little bit better, just dropping a little bit of that inflammation or water or weight, whatever it is, you're in a totally different place mentally.
Yeah, no doubt. I was trying to look up a minute ago, not to plagiarize because I'm not. We'll give them credit, but I was thinking about this whole primal thing, and I was thinking back about the 10 laws that Mark Sisson talks about, and from a workout perspective, what's interesting is there's only 2 that really are related to workout, and that is lift heavy things.
Yeah.
He's really only talking about a couple of times a week, maybe if that, and then sprint occasionally.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, how hard is that? I mean,
I
why can't you figure
know.
out why can't you figure out how to do that? And so I'm trying to get back to the basics. It's
Yeah.
and I think that's a good a good place to start when you fall off the wagon is just get back to the
Mhm.
get back to basics.
hmm My husband's struggling too right now because both of us, whenever I'm off the wagon, he's completely off the wagon too. And so neither of us had any motivation. And at least I've had this week where he started to eat lower carb again, but just can't seem to get to the gym. And we joined a Planet Fitness because it's open 24 hours. All we're doing is paying for it when nobody's going. And so I told him today, it was like 7, and I'm like, it's 5 minutes from our house. I was like, why don't you go and just go for, like I did, like 20 minutes. Go into it knowing it's going to be a very lame workout because you don't want to hurt yourself because you haven't done anything for a while. But that it's not about that workout as much as it is getting back into a habit
Right,
and walking out of the place feeling like you did something. And he
right.
did. He came back. He only went like on a dare. He came back going, man, it feels good. I can feel my muscles all tightening up. There's a strong person under all this.
But I think what we think is that you have to work out, every day, or that you have to
Feel it.
answer
Yeah.
or you have to go for an hour and do all these different, workouts and things like that. I found that list. I'll read it just
Okay,
because
okay.
this
10
this is
things. Back to basics.
so just to give proper credit. This is the Primal Blueprint, and so one is eat lots of plants and animals. That's profound, huh?
I love Mark Simpson.
Avoid poisonous things, which really, and if you listen to him, that not only is it the obvious, but that's where things like gluten and wheat and things that are really undigestible by a lot of people, come into play.
Hmm.
Um, move frequently at a slow pace, which is just the general walking, but no real need to do anything crazy. 4 is lift heavy things. 5 is sprint once in a while. 6 is get adequate sleep. 7 is play. 8 is get adequate sunlight. 9 is avoid stupid mistakes, and
General.
10 is use your brain. And what's crazy is if you listen to him walk through those, it's really simplistic, but at the same time, I think that if you do
So
those
hard.
things, it's kind of hard to argue with the results.
Look
You
at
know?
him. I know. Well,
Yeah.
and if
He's
you
he's,
listen,
he's aging well, I would say.
oh my gosh, he's so attractive. He is, and he looks great. And but so do you, Jack. Oh my gosh, you have really amazing. When we were at dinner in Dallas, and your friends, I don't think they'd ever seen a before picture of you.
Oh no, they hadn't. So that was the first time for them. So they
They
hadn't seen that.
freaked out. And that wasn't that long ago. It was just a couple years ago. And then I saw your wedding picture. How long ago did you get married?
28, 27 years.
And back then, you were a heavier guy back then.
Yeah. It was like I said, it's kind of interesting because I've been tracking the weight in my Fitness Pal long enough to be now a full year at basically a full year under my less than what I weighed in college, which
Amazing.
is less than what I weighed when Shelly met me. So now I've been close here of late, but
Me too. I'm getting back to
I'm back.
70.
I'm back under 200, which I had snuck up to like 202,
You
and
look great, Jack.
now I'm back down. But it's good to be. I think having everyone realize that everybody struggles. I
Yeah.
think it's actually good, not because everybody just kind of gives in, but I think everybody can choose to kind of get back on the wagon together.
Yeah, yeah. Heather, I think it was Heather, is one of my new My Fitness Pal friends, and she was saying, it's hard. It's really hard to get back on the wagon. And that was one of the reasons I didn't want to bother, is because I know if I work like hell to lose this weight, then it's hard to keep it off. And I'm like, ugh, why even bother? But she was right. What she wrote is it's hard not to, too. It's really hard to live every day just like disgusted with the fact that you're not doing anything good for yourself, even for your heart and for your longevity and for your just overall wellness. That's hard too.
Right.
So why? I mean,
Well, and that's the big difference, too, I think, is that when your focus is your health and not weight loss, then
yeah,
the consequences of putting the weight back on are more than just the pant sizes and the vanity.
yeah,
It's about things like, your longevity and your overall health and things like that.
diabetes, everything.
And I know in the past, when I've gone off the wagon, and I've never been this, lost this much weight for this period of time, but in the past when I've lost some weight and put it back on, it was always about the weight loss. It was never about, mortality, quite frankly, or longevity or just health or things like that. I
Mm-hmm.
almost feel like if you focus on health, the weight becomes kind of like a benefit,
Yeah.
as opposed to focusing on the weight and the health becoming a benefit. It's a subtle difference, but if you're focused on your health, falling off the wagon is not pant sizes. It's 5 years less life expectancy.
Oh
Something
my
like that.
gosh.
So you got to get. If you think of it in terms of your health, then maybe it's easier to get back on the wagon. I don't know. It's
Right.
working for me.
Yeah, you got to look at both. You do because I don't know. There's a lot of things that I feel like I can do for health that I I don't know. It's tricky because if I just focus on health, these smoothies and different things that I know are healthy in one way are going to end up having a negative effect on me in another way. So I don't know. I think you got to do both. Or don't be vain. Just be healthy, I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
What else is going on? How's school?
I'm halfway through. So there's no way that I can just keep this mentality that, oh, I'm just, as soon as I finish my master's, I got 9 more months of this. And the master's in itself is not, I can handle that. That shouldn't derail my life. It's that my job became very intense this year. I've never been this busy, and a lot of campuses need support before and after school. And so I'm working before hours and late hours, and there's just the fall is just a time when teachers want a little bit of help with their classroom or whatever. You don't want to say no, because there's just so much that has to happen in the fall for kids to be set up for success. And so it's just been, I just have a real problem taking any time off. And so the job is incredibly demanding and full. And then I had agreed before I knew this job was going to be like this. I agreed for my district to pay for this certification to become a writing specialist in our district. And I didn't know what I was agreeing to. I don't know why I didn't look into more what this entailed. And it's like these 30 different books. Some are chapters and some are books, and I have a year to do it, and I have to write these summaries and submit them to these people, and then they have to come and see me teach this way, and it's like its own masters on the side. It's so much. Some of them, half those are full-on books, and the learning is fantastic. It's learning that I didn't get in college because I didn't go to school for education. So it's just a lot going on. It's just a lot.
And when does that finish?
Oh, it's who knows? I'm so behind in it. I have to have 15 of them read and summarized, and they kick them back to you if they don't like what you've written to. I'm like,
Great.
I'm just gonna pay the few $1,000s back to the district and backpedal out of this. But I have about a year and a half I think, to get that all done. But I'm not super stressed about that because I've talked to them and they're like, do what you can, do what you can, don't worry about it. It might just take me a little longer than other folks, but you still feel the pressure of trying to keep up. And then my kids are doing such fun stuff right now. They're in plays, and the two younger ones were asked to participate in an opera here in Houston, and so they just finished the productions this evening for this opera, and it was a very critically acclaimed opera here in the Heights, and it was just fun for the little ones to be this real small part of one scene. But it was a ton of driving them down there. It was a very demanding schedule for them, and Tony's all into sports. Anyway, it's no different than other moms and then other dads and forget even kids, any people out there. Your life gets full. And
Oh no, it's
everybody, you said you're pretty crazy right now. How are you traveling that much? Why are you traveling that much?
just work. I mean, I got it's just that I'm my own. What's funny is that it's kind of like you when you volunteer for things.
Yeah.
I have very few things that I'm required to do to travel that are like what I would call mandatory. But then there's all these things that I need to do, and I just don't say no very well. And so so I end up, I look at my schedule and I'll say, who did this? And it was, I did it to myself. I didn't schedule a break. Not that I would schedule a break, but I either work out of my home or I'm on the road. And if you don't schedule office time, then it will get consumed with travel. And that's what's happened to me a few times. Over the last several weeks in a row. It was 5 or 6 weeks in a row, back to back to back to back. Not solid, but 4 days, 3 days, and then you get back and it's all you can do to get your laundry turned around, and it's time to go on the road again. And then and of course a lot going on with kids. We've got 2 graduations coming up in May. One college graduation, one high school graduation.
Aww.
And I don't know if you know this. I think you know this, but and a baby on the way with my oldest. So
I heard, but we weren't supposed to say anything.
I'll be a grandparent and have a high school graduate and a college graduation all within like a week of one another. So
Life does not slow down.
no. So
congratulations!
Crazy times. Thanks.
That's fantastic. That's a lot of fantastic things coming up.
I feel too young to be a grandfather. We still haven't decided what we're going to be called. So Shelly and I were talking about, So someone said, well, they're going to call you what they're going to call you anyway. So just wait until they decide.
I had a friend who had the baby call her gorgeous. Her was Papa, Nana, this and that. I want to be gorgeous. Oh, that's funny.
Crazy.
Yeah, we have a Papa and a Nana and a Grandma and a Grandpa. So it's all sweet. It's all just so sweet. That's just going to be so amazing. Now, your daughter who's having the baby, she lives near you, correct?
Dallas.
Oh, that's not too bad. Y'all will be wearing out a trail between there and
Dallas. About 3 hours to get up there, and so that'll be good. And then it looks like my middle one, who's graduating, her undergraduate is going to do her master's up there in Dallas as well. So we may end up with 2 of them up there.
Nice.
So we'll see.
Yeah, okay, so speaking of Dallas, and thank you again for heading up that Tough Mudder and getting us out there, because I don't know what kind of activity I would have had in the last 9 months if I didn't have that at least, and that Gritty Goddess, and, it was so much fun. It was such a good day to get out there. So what's next? I thought you were gonna do one up in the Northeast.
I'm gonna do one. I haven't got a commitment, although Cynthia did mention something to me via Facebook message the other day. I had asked her about, there's a couple of locations in the Pennsylvania area. One is Poconos, which is, I guess, the Tough Mudder that's there is in the infield of a racetrack, which is kind of like Houston's was.
Yeah.
And I remembered you saying that you didn't particularly care for Houston's, not just because of the temperature, but just being in the infield of a racetrack doesn't.
Yeah,
like. And then there's another one. There's another one called the Ohio River Valley or Ohio, which basically is for Pennsylvania and Ohio. It's for people that are closer, I think, to the Pittsburgh area or so forth. So I've got some people that have already expressed kind of interest at work, and so I'm definitely leaning that way again.
You
I
could
need some.
totally do
Maybe,
it.
maybe Cynthia will do it too. So she's.
Y'all do it.
Um, but I think having something like that on the horizon
Yeah.
keeps the wheels from totally falling off.
I know, at least there's something. You can say you did something. I think I'm going to do a Santa hustle in Galveston, and those they give you the beard and the Santa cap, and I think we get a red hoodie, but everybody wears them for the run, and it just looks like hundreds and hundreds of Santa
that's
Clauses.
cool.
It is.
Well, today was interesting. The 5K that I ran was a Santa's Wonderland 5K and 1 mile. So there was people that just walked it with their kids, and there was other people that ran. But there were costumes galore, and a lot of people had, because it didn't start till almost 6 o'clock, and it ran through these lighted woods.
Yeah.
The last mile, tons of people had various kinds of lighted costumes on.
So fun.
All the battery powered Christmas lights in their tutus. There were people dressed up. There's tons of snowmen characters from Frost and Elf
Frozen and all that.
And all that. So it was we were without costume, so we should have
up your game, man. Wear your headband, your Tough Mudder headband. Light it up.
I would have. I need next year. We said we're going to try to figure out what we're going to do from a costume perspective to be a little bit more festive.
Yeah, because we've got turkey trots coming up, and we've got jingle bell runs, and then there's all the resolution runs that are going to happen in January. So, I mean, people can throw something out there. You don't have to run a 5K. You can absolutely walk a 5K. We walked the Gritty Goddess, and it was great. We had a great time. To me, if you're doing it with friends, it was that much more time with your friends out there laughing.
Right.
So, yeah, and Caroline and I walked to Starbucks and back today. That's a 2-mile walk. So we're always thinking if we do that, we stop, we have coffee at Starbucks, and then we come back. So it's 4 miles total. But that's over a 5K, and just walking and talking and griping and gossiping, and it goes so fast, and it's healthy to be out there with a friend of yours. And I have really missed walks with her. I haven't done any of it because I've just needed my sleep. But you've got to make time for that stuff.
Oh, no doubt. I think that anything movement helps. So hey, I have a question for you. What's your take on all this sitting is death stuff and standing desks and all these people that are standing workstations and all that? What's your take on all that?
I totally believe it, because and the reason I feel like there's something to that, like lately I've been going, but then I've had to stay at my desk and just get caught up. I got like where you're saying, where I didn't ever schedule any time to do my expense reports and catch up on my paperwork and turn into my bosses the results of a lot of stuff that I've been doing. And after a few days of just sitting, everything starts to seize up. I've had pains. Like this week has been so much better. I'm still sitting a lot lately, but I've been going to the, like I said, I got out for a few workouts, and I've walked a couple times with Caroline, and so I'm a little bit better. But the inactivity and then sitting is the most inactive that you can be.
Right.
I've never had these pains that I've had, this ankle thing and this hip thing and my back, and I mean, I always get out of bed kind of ouch, 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 and then kind of you get moving, and you're like, okay, I'm not that old. But everything starts to settle. And Caroline is just going to this physical therapist that she thinks the world of, because she almost had to have surgery for this tear in her hip that they found, but she went to a physical therapist first, and they've been trying to strengthen these other muscles, and she's just over the moon excited because it took several weeks, but the pain is almost all gone. But the woman's telling her, you're going to have to do these little exercises for the rest of your life because they're just muscles you wouldn't normally use. I think there's so much to the fact that we are in a position that ancestrally we're not meant to sit at, to be sitting, and to be in this position for 8 or more hours.
I agree. I'm not doing much about it other than I do walk quite a bit when I'm
to offset it.
But to try to offset it, but I don't quite have a treadmill desk or a standing workstation.
No, I'm not there either. I went into a principal's office the other day. I took a picture with my Tough Mudder headband when we went back to work after the Dallas one. It looks like I'm at my standing desk. It's really hers because I went into her office. I was like, oh, my God, this is so cool. She said, all I did was put a platform, which is just 3 pieces of wood somebody made for me, on top of my desk. And
right.
So then you can stand up at it. That's all I did. So now I've got space under the platform and space on either side. And then, of course, her computer keyboard is on top, her laptop's on top. But she just stays standing when she's in her office. And how can that be bad?
Yeah, I don't think it's bad at all. I was in a guy's office the other day, and it was in the of all I can't even remember I think it was Florence, Alabama. It was literally a really small town in northern Alabama. And I walked in, and this guy, he had a regular desk, but then it was a piece of equipment, a piece of equipment that sat on his desk, and his monitor and everything went on it, and it allowed him to raise and lower his monitor whether he was sitting or standing.
Oh, that's
and I walked in, I thought, here we are in essentially rural South, and I walked in, and I said, and his boss was taking me on a tour of the place. And so I walked into this guy's office, and I saw the standing workstation, and it was, and I said, sitting's the new smoking, and he started laughing, and he said, exactly, and the guy that was giving me the tour said, is that what this is all about? And we started talking about how, and he's offering them to like all employees that want them and things like that. He had that, because it's really catching on. So I was at another place this doesn't totally surprise me, but I was at another place in the Pacific Northwest. I want to say it was Portland, or anyway, and all of the offices had motorized standing desks, so you could either sit or push back and flip a switch, and then it would the desk would raise up to standing height for every employee in the building. So who knows if that's going to be something that everybody's going to have in the future.
You kind of should. That ergonomics, or just the fact that sitting, it's got to be bad to be sitting for that long. And it's so ironic because kids are being asked to sit, just traditional school is sit for this really long periods of time, and there's school districts that are banning recess because they need more time to prepare for these tests and stuff. Right. And it's crazy. It's really crazy that we're so far from probably what we're meant
no doubt
doing. We've got a problem. Okay, Jack, what's our big takeaway? What are our big takeaways here? I think
back to basics.
No joke. Any basics have to be good. I'm not ready to give up my dairy.
Well, you didn't even respond to my text the other day when we started this whole "Are we going to do a show or not?" And I said I'm still trying to find high-fat booze. I can't find I can't find Tito's vodka that's high-fat.
It did make me laugh. This is just one glass of red wine.
Tito's and heavy cream.
Oh my God! Right? Something. We're going into the holidays. You better find it fast.
I know the wine's not doing any good, and anyway, so I think back to basics and to not let things not to let things get out of hand either. Just because.
Yeah, and I was gonna have my carb night 9 days. I wanted to do that induction of 9 days and have a carb night. It was supposed to be Monday night. but then I've got Thanksgiving looming 3 days after that. So I'm just going to stick it out. And again, I'm probably having way too much protein, but I'm still not going to introduce the crazy day of carbs until Thursday because I can do that. And I know these holidays, they don't have to derail you completely. Let them derail you once in a while, but I have a plan to check back in.
Right.
So I think it's, as always, community is what's probably going to save me. So I appreciate, huh?
I think that's true too, because I think if you go radio silent, I think it would be pretty easy to get out of control.
It is. I was radio silent for a while, and it is very comfortable with your nachos and no one watching.
Likewise.
So I appreciate everybody. I've had so much support and people supporting each other, because when people put on there, oh my gosh, okay, I'm back too, and this and that, everybody's so supportive. I had Adrian, one of our listeners, write me because last show I said, okay, I'm going to commit to parking farther away. Dang it. And just two workouts a week. Surely I can get that in. And she put on Facebook today, so how's it going, Carol? Are you parking farther away? Are you still like, oh my God, call me out. But yeah, put something out there that's reasonable. That's not that hard to say, when I can, when I have time, I'm going to park further away from the door. Good night. Is that so hard to do? And again, going to the gym and just doing something, just moving for 20 minutes with some resistance training, or it didn't have to be the gym. You can go, like you said, sprint every once in a while, lift something heavy. It will make you feel so much better about your food choices. And
I agree.
All those basics. I love that list you read. Thank you, Mark Sisson, for that.
No doubt.
All right, and thanks, Health Nuts Anonymous. We stole your show too and regurgitated that, bastardized it. Somebody, y'all go listen to these real shows. We just talk about them.
Let's talk to everybody else's shows.
Right? That's our show.
It's kind of like, what's the show where they would go on and they would, there was a show that you could catch up, you could watch this one show and it would tell you what happened on all the soap operas.
Oh, yeah, Talk Soup.
Yeah, so we'll just go on this show and we'll tell you what happens on everybody else's podcast.
We misquote them. I think Talk Soup was a big joke too. It was funny. Yeah. So funny. That was great TV. Greg Kinnear. He was my favorite one on that show. Okay. So yeah, okay, so we're back. Yep. And we're going to try to put something out every couple of weeks. We got Vinny Tortorich supposed to be coming up pretty soon. We've got to schedule that. But he's big time. And
have you seen what he's been doing lately, by the way? I can't wait to talk to him. He's been doing these he's gone to a couple of places with a cameraman and just like I don't know what the right terminology is, but he basically goes to like a Jamba Juice and says, he interviews the people that are working at Jamba Juice as do they know how much sugar's in their drinks? Do they know how healthy it is? And it's almost like these kind of like these surprise, almost 60 Minutes-esque kind of, but because these people talk about how healthy it is, and it's all fructose, and that's okay. And he's like, oh no, really?
Oh my God, I love it.
That's all on YouTube, and then he did the same thing, believe it or not, for Starbucks. Now he's a big Starbucks drinker himself, but it's just pretty much black coffee or coffee and heavy cream.
Yep.
It's those dome drinks that people get with all the
the whip.
It's like they're like milkshakes, and especially this time of year when they're getting the pumpkin lattes.
Oh, I don't dare try those. They sound heavenly. And I feel decadent with my heavy cream. And so I'm going to stop right there.
Likewise. I'm not going to stop there, though. That's the problem. I can't seem to stop.
No, yes, you will. I want to see you over on my Fitness Pal. We'll put that link in the show notes. We'll put the link, again, the December challenge. I know when we put this out, it's probably, maybe too late. I don't know by the time you download it and listen to it. But still, come to the links, come to the December challenge, and just whatever day it is, start checking in every day that day. And I really feel like if you don't have to read everybody's posts, you don't have to write a bunch, but just committing to every day talking about what you've done, good or bad, makes a difference. It makes you more aware of what you're doing. So I'm hugely grateful to everybody that keeps that community alive, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to help a lot.
No doubt.
All right, Jed, thank you. This is episode 108 of the Fat2Fit HQ podcast, not the Fit to Fat. We're going to try not to be the Fit to Fat podcast. We were that for a while, but now we're going back to fit.
That's right.
It's like I feel like I never get there. It's been years trying to get to fit.
It's a journey.
I know, somebody gave us a bad review. We've got tons of good reviews in iTunes, but there is one negative review. It was like, okay, so this is a show about I tried something, I fell off the wagon. I tried something, I fell off again. That's pretty much all it is. That was a long time ago. But I was like, well, you know what? That is all it is. It's a journey.
That's right.
If anybody's doing it perfectly, I question that.
It's boring.
Yeah, what fun is that anyway? I want to say hi to Melina Hunt again because she's totally supporting me. She's my Twitter friend, and she's always tweeting out stuff with doing carb night and carb backloading and stuff. So another shout out to Melina and everybody. Thanks, JT. I guess we'll talk to you soon as we get another podcast together. Hopefully sooner versus later.
All right. Bye, Carol.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching that video, but you should really come over and check out Fat2FitHQ.com. Getting healthy, staying healthy, does not need to be miserable. Sometimes you just need a friend to go along the journey with you. You'll find links to our Facebook page, our MyFitnessPal community, and a lot of ways that you can have company on this journey. Thanks again for watching. Go do something healthy. Bye.
This has been a production of the Firearms Radio Network. You can find more information at firearmsradio.tv.